right. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Yin. I'm Trish. I'm going to do a nice relaxing practice this evening. So maybe put some of your favorite relaxing music on. And as always in our Yin practice, make sure you're listening to your body. So I'll give different variations and really honor wherever your body's at this evening. So if at any time that you feel like anything's too much, come a little bit out of the pose. We never want to come to the point where anything feels like it's pulling or getting the shakes, and make sure that you're not going straight into your full extension from the start, especially when we're coming into some of our forward folds. So we don't want a pulling sort of feeling. Okay, so this evening we're going to start off with a little bit of fascial rolling. So giving ourselves a nice little massage through the shoulders. So grab a couple of tennis balls. Maybe grab a block as well if you want a little bit more weight. So we are going to start with the tennis balls up the tops of the shoulders and just roll them down in between the shoulder blades and maybe out a little bit. So we'll spend the next maybe 10 minutes or so doing that. Okay, so from here, grab your tennis balls, maybe come down towards the bottom lower part of your mat. Bring the knees together, feet to the edges of the mat. Have your block next to you, especially if you want a little bit more weight onto the shoulders. If the hair is behind the head, just slide it to the side. And then from here, we're just going to roll onto our back and we're going to pop the tennis balls at the tops of your shoulders. Okay, so make sure they're symmetrical and on either side, and they're not actually on the spine itself. So, and then from here, it should feel quite nice, as if someone's just giving you a little massage. And then just bring the hands either to your hips or out by your shoulders. And just take a couple of nice deep breaths here to soften. As you inhale, just expanding through the body, deep, full yogic breaths, flooding the belly, filling the lungs, bottom, middle, top, front, side, back, into the heart. You're breathing into the neck and throat. And as you exhale, just let everything be soft and heavy, allowing the weight of your body just to melt down onto the balls. Maybe a couple of little sighs. So as you exhale, I'm just releasing the jaw. And then just sighing away the day. Let's do two more here. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, really try to soften the jaw. If you hold tension in the jaw, maybe just open and close the mouth. And one more. And then from here, it feels good. Maybe just a very gentle little turn of the head from side to side. And then that feels good. You can continue that. Otherwise, maybe you can keep the hips on the ground, keep the head still, and maybe just gently starting to draw the knees from side to side, creating a little bit of movement. And then if you want a little bit more pressure onto the tennis balls there, we can start to maybe roll up into a shoulder bridge. So you can bring, so if you want to just, if you don't want too much pressure, feel free just to slide the legs out and just relax onto your balls. Otherwise, if you want a little bit more, bring your knees and feet to hip width, maybe scoop the pelvis under, and as you exhale, push into the feet, lift the hips, and then maybe pop your block just underneath your sacrum, your hips. Keep the knees bent, and then now we're just using gravity to get a little bit more weight onto the balls. So, and then just breathing into the body. Deep, nourishing breaths. With every inhale, just flooding the body with fresh oxygen and energy. And as you exhale, just keep softening down. Letting go of any tension with the out breath, letting go of any thoughts. Letting go of the day and just putting aside this next little while for yourself and your practice. And then from here, if you feel very tight at the tops of the shoulders and you want to stay there a little bit longer, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we're just pushing into the feet, lifting the hips, and then lift the head a little bit, and then just keeping the contact on the balls, just slide yourself up the mat and that will roll the balls a little bit further down the back. So from here, you can melt back down. If the balls move out of the way, just adjust them so they are symmetrical and comfortable again. And then coming a little bit lower. So once again, you can have the block underneath your hips, or you can bring the hips onto the floor. You might be feeling very tight this evening in between the shoulder blades, so I'm going to keep my hips down. And then just deepening the breath. Wherever you're feeling any tension, keep breathing into those spaces, flooding them with oxygen and energy. And then as you exhale, keep sending that message from the mind to the body just to soften and release. And if your hands are by the hips, you might want to take them a little bit higher up as you start to open up through the upper back. And you're taking the hands wider out towards the shoulders, or maybe in cactus or above the head. So just find what is a good position for you this evening. Maybe some gentle movement, or maybe just using the breath to melt down. And maybe just sliding, rolling a little bit further up. Keeping that breath deep and flowing. And from here, you can either just stay melting down with the balls in between the shoulder blades. Otherwise, another movement you can do is maybe taking the arm and just bringing it up and down. So you just lean in between the shoulder blades. And so this is just so you can draw the movement like that. Otherwise, if you haven't bothered holding the hands up, you can just bend the elbows and then just leading with the elbows. So the hands can relax and not having to extend the arms all the way up to the sky. So it's pretty much this movement here, but I'm dropping my elbow so that I can just, so I'm leading with the elbow. So I'm doing exactly the same movement with my hand. I'm just extending my arm just so you can see the movement exaggerated. And then continuing with that movement, but I'm just dropping the elbow so I don't have to keep my arm all the way extended up to the sky. And you can do that with both sides. Keeping the breath nice and deep and flowing, and then you can maybe start to make little circles. Noticing any referring sensation as well. Sometimes as we release in one spot, you might feel other places release. So I'm feeling a nice release through my jaw, my vagus nerve. And then if you've got one arm on top in this position with the elbows crossed, just swap them over so the other arm is on top, so nice and even. Maybe taking the arms out to the side, that feels good. So just find whatever movements feel good. And then let's come a little bit lower down. Or rolling up the mat and bringing the balls a little bit lower down the back. Just keeping that breath flowing. So just tuning into your body. But everyone's body's different, and we always feel different on different days. So just really deepening that connection with your body and just letting your body show you what it needs tonight. So sometimes it might feel nice to do some gentle movement. Sometimes it might feel nice just to breathe in stillness and melt down. Come a little bit lower down. In between the shoulder blades. Once again, legs however's comfortable. And if you like, maybe start to slide the balls out onto the shoulder blades or just underneath the shoulder blades. Softening and deepening the breath. And we're bringing them a little bit wider out. Ooh. The balls can be on the shoulder blades or just underneath, whatever feels nice for you this evening. Continue to soften, maybe just relaxing the shoulders further down away from the ears, and make sure you're softening through the jaw, softening the face, cheeks. Softening the eyes, feeling the eyes heavy in their sockets. Softening through the eyebrow center and keeping the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the two front teeth. Bring them a little bit further out. Onto the shoulder blades. Okay, and then from here, we'll just take a couple more nice deep breaths here. And then for this last minute, if the shoulders feel quite tight, feel free to stay there. Otherwise, maybe you can roll the balls lower down, perhaps to the kidneys and the adrenals, so just underneath the lower ribs, out to the sides, and or maybe down to the glutes if that's better for you. When your balls are down at the along the kidneys, so I've got my balls at the kidneys. You can bring them a little bit lower down onto your glutes, onto your bum. So just, or you can keep them at the shoulders. If you've got them on the kidneys and the adrenals, it might be nice just to hug the knees in to add a little bit more pressure. Keeping the shoulders soft, keeping the face nice and relaxed. Okay, take a couple more breaths here, wherever you're at. And then when you're ready, if your knees are hugged in, or if your hips are up in a shoulder bridge for you, if your balls are still at your shoulders, release the feet back down and then bring the hips back. So if you are in your shoulder bridge, just lift your block and then roll yourself back down. If your feet were hugged in, bring your feet back to the ground. And from here, let's gently release the tennis balls. And then just extend your legs out, give a little shake out through the legs, a little shimmy out through the body, and let's come into Shavasana just for a minute. So lengthen the spine, relax the shoulders, legs are extended. Hands resting by the hips. If it's comfortable, turn the palms of the hands facing up, fingers lightly curled. Keeping our body in this nice neutral position and just taking some nice deep breaths here. Observing any subtle changes. Blood or energy flowing, just observing the breath. Maybe the breath feels a little bit more expanded. Okay. From here, when you're ready, let's slowly bring some movement back into the body. Gently start to wriggle your fingers and toes, maybe circling the wrists and ankles a few times in one direction, back the other way. So you inhale, take the arms to the sides or above the head. Maybe stretching out, starting to point and flex the feet, just opening the fronts and the backs of the legs. Maybe a little side stretch from one side to the other. And then when you're ready, exhale, belly hugs in, hug the knees into the chest, roll your chin into the throat and curl into a nice little ball. Slide the shoulders back down away from the ears, and then lengthening shoulders, neck and head back down. From here, let's just bring our awareness to the hip crease. Inhale as you exhale, just widening out across the hips. And then just hugging the knees a little bit closer in towards the chest. Maybe just gently rocking from side to side. As you rock from side to side, maybe just lengthening the sit bones back down towards the long end of your mat. And once you've done that a couple of times, let's release the knees, circling the knees a few times in one direction, massaging out through the back, and then gently back the other way. And then take the knees apart, circle them in opposite directions, and then gently back the other way. All right, bring the feet back to the ground. Draw the belly in towards the spine. Shoulders are grounded. Exhale, bring the knees to one side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the other side. So eye gaze wherever's comfortable. You can look to the same direction as your knees or the opposite direction, or keep your head facing towards the sky. Keeping the belly hugging in. All right, let's even it up. And then from here, just bring your hand to the side and just gently roll yourself back to support back up. Let's come into tabletop now. We'll just do a couple of cat-cows just to mobilize through the spine before we come into our next shape, heart melting. Okay, so coming up into tabletop, all fours, your wrist underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Hands are shoulder width apart, knees and feet hip width apart. So let's lengthen the spine as we inhale. As you exhale, start to roll the tailbone under, belly to the spine to the ceiling. Widening out across the back, lifting up through the front of your chest. Roll the chin in towards the throat and point the crown of the head to the mat. As you inhale, widening hips and collarbones, belly hugs in. As we lengthen and arch, opening up through the front of the body, maybe reaching the heart forwards in between that gateway of your shoulders, eye gaze to the sky. We'll just do a couple here, moving with the breath. To start. We're just opening up through the front and the back of the body. Especially if you've been seated all day or some movement positions, and just open everything up. All right, on the next exhalation, we'll just stay in our round shape. So we're going to breathe into the back of the body, and then as you exhale, start to push your shins and tops of the feet into the mat. Start to lift up through your belly and your chest. So as we engage one side, the other side is going to start to open. So really opening up across the upper back. Taking a few breaths here. So as you inhale, breathing into the back of the body. As you exhale, keep lifting through the belly and the chest. Widening out across the collarbones, widening out across the shoulder girdle. One more breath. And then as you inhale, widening hips and collarbones, belly hugs into the spine and arching the back here. And let's stay in this arch shape. As you inhale, just breathing into the heart. As you exhale, squeeze through the backs of the shoulder blades. Keeping the belly hugging into the spine. All right. Come back to center. And then from here, just circle your hips a few times in one direction. Like the other way. Make a little figure eight with the hips. And then back the other way. And then come into a little bit of disco cat. So just coming into a little bit of freeform movement. Maybe starting to make some little figure eights from your shoulders to your hips and back. Maybe little circles with the head. And just keeping the tip of the tongue resting on the roof of the mouth behind the two front teeth. Okay. From here, bring all your energy back into the spot, 3 fingers below your belly button. We'll just come into child's pose for a few breaths. So bringing the toes together, widening the hips and draw the bum back towards the heels and stretching out. Rest your forehead and then hands in front, just softening through the elbows. So take a couple of breaths here. We're not going to stay here too long. And just bring your awareness to your hip crease. Keep softening and widening out through the hips. If you're maybe starting to lengthen out through the spine, and so from the forehead, maybe starting to melt the chest towards the floor. All right, when you're ready, let's push into the hand and then roll ourselves back up into tabletop. From here, we've got a couple of options. We're going to come into heart melting pose. So option 1 is with 1 block. Option 2 is with 2 blocks. So depending on how open your chest feels this evening. Okay, so and if you have 3 blocks, you can do this other option as well. So option 1 is keep your hips. So we're all going to keep our hips anchored over the knees, belly hugs in, and you start to walk the hands forwards, keeping the hips anchored over the knees, melting the belly towards the thighs, and then bring your elbows down, squeezing the block in between your hands. So the block is at this alignment and the heel of your hand is really pushing into the block. So make sure you're not just pushing with your fingertips. So we want to feel that pushing there. Okay, and then we start to melt down, forehead comes down, and you're squeezing the block there. And so that's going to engage the back of your thoracic bone between the shoulder blades where we were rolling before. Okay, otherwise, if you want a little bit more, so if you come normally into this shape and you can rest your chin on the floor, you might want a little bit more opening through the chest. So the other option now is either to bring the block on its lower end or maybe on its middle end, okay, and have 2 blocks here. And then as we start to roll down, we bring our elbows onto the blocks, and then you can bring your forehead down. Okay, so this is just going to give me a little bit of a deeper stretch through my chest here. Okay, so and then if I have a 3rd block, I can then bring this block in between my hands and then squeeze that block, so I can maybe change the alignment of my block this time and make it longer if I'm taking this extended option, and then melting down. So find whatever option feels good for you this evening. Okay, and I'm going to melt here for 3 minutes. So make sure that you're feeling quite comfortable. And so we want to feel that the belly's hugging into the spine, maybe drawing your sit bones back towards the sky, melting the belly to the thighs. And then we're feeling that squeezing and contraction in between the shoulder blades. And then maybe starting to just gently roll your armpits back down towards the floor as well. So just keep deepening the breath. Again, we never want to get to the point where anything feels like it's pulling or getting the shake. So maybe release a little bit or engage a little bit more. Melting the heart towards the floor. Once again, we're engaging through the back of the body, keeping the belly drawing into the spine. And feeling that nice opening up through the chest, through the heart center. Okay, we'll just take a couple more nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to gently, so if your hands are behind your head holding a block or holding prayer, bring the hands down. Okay, if you're on the blocks, come off the blocks, release your blocks, and move the blocks out to the sides. Okay, from here, let's ground into the hands, and we're going to slide ourselves forwards and bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, and now we're coming into Sphinx. So lengthen out through your toes, and so your feet are hip width, and let the tops of your thighs roll in towards each other. Okay, from here, if you want, maybe just have your bolster close by, so that if you want to come a little bit deeper in a minute or two, we can do that. Okay, so tops of the thighs are rolling in. Start to lengthen your tailbone back towards the floor, and then lifting the pelvic floor, belly hugs into the spine, grounding into the elbows, and then start to engage your TVA or your transverse abdominis from hip to hip. Start to roll that band back towards your bum. Reaching the heart forwards and then grounding into the elbows. Maybe feel like you're drawing your elbows back towards your hips. And then reaching the heart forwards, widening out across the shoulders, widening out through the collarbones, and the head of the shoulders are rolling inwards. Let's take some nice deep breaths here. And so now we're feeling that squeeze a little bit lower down our back, but there should be no pinching through the bones in your lower back. Maybe feeling a nice opening up through the hips, the abdomen. Reaching the heart forwards. And then from here, so we're keeping that tailbone rolling under, tops of the thighs are rolling in, pelvic floor is lifted, TVA is rolling back, belly hugs into the spine, and then keeping those shoulders sliding down the back, maybe lengthening through your neck and throat, and then rolling the chin into the throat, keeping the shoulders sliding down. You're feeling this nice stretch at the back of your neck and the tops of your shoulders, keeping the chin rolled in towards the throat, shoulders sliding down the back, maybe a very gentle movement with the head as we bring, keeping the chin tucked in and just rolling the head from side to side. Deepening the breath. And stay there, maybe bring the head back up, and then from here you can stay in this position for a little more. Otherwise, if you like, maybe push into your hands. If you like, maybe come a little bit higher up into seal. So in seal, we have our hands a bit wider out, or what I like to do is grab my bolster and then bring my forearms onto my bolster. So then my ribs are supported onto my bolster, which then I can relax my arms. And so this just takes us a little bit deeper. So we're feeling a little bit more of a squeeze through that middle and lower back area. Once again, make sure we're not feeling any pinching through the bones in the lower back. And we're grounding the elbows and we're reaching the heart forwards. Keep lengthening up through the spine. Just take a couple more nice deep breaths here. Extending the chin all the way up to the sky, or you can keep the head facing forwards, or you can have the chin rolled in, whatever feels good. All right, and then when you're ready, we're just going to release the hands. You've got your bolster underneath, just slide it out. And then from here, just rest your head to one side and then just rest your hands by your hips, or you can bring the hands forwards and then just stacking one palm on top of the other. And just take a couple of nice deep breaths here. Just breathing into the back of the body. Okay. When you're ready, let's start to lift up. So drawing up through the insides of your legs. And then rolling the tailbone under, pelvic floor lifts, belly hugs in, reach up. Okay, we're going to come into broken wing and then open wing. So now take your left hand and now you're going to bring it out into a cactus position. Okay, so your elbows in line with your shoulder and your hand is in line with your elbow. You're going to turn your head towards the right, bring your hip slightly across the right, extend out through that elbow, and then from here you can either just bring that leg back or you can bend that knee, and we're going to start to feel this very nice stretch across your left side of your chest. Okay, so I'm going to come the other way so that I can see you guys, but just that was how the hand needs to be. So, and just breathing into that left side of the chest. Make sure once again, we're not feeling like anything's pulling or getting the shakes. Use your other hand just to support. Just breathing into it. Notice if you're holding tension in your face or in your jaw, your forehead or the other shoulder. Try to soften. Okay, and then from here, we're going to come back onto our bellies and transition into open wing. So we're going to roll back onto our bellies, and then that left hand, sorry, I'm just going to come this way because you don't move, guys. I'm just showing you what the hand is like, but I need to face the screen. So now from this position here, we're going to bring that hand all the way straight out, and then bring the hips to the right. And this time we should be able to roll a little bit further back, and then you can take the top hand, so you can keep the hand in front of your face to support, or you can maybe take that hand around and slide it into your waist. Okay, we'll hang out here for another 2 minutes. So keep the body nice and long, and then just breathing into, now breathing, the chest should feel a little bit more a lot more open from that last shape. So now we should be able to feel the energy extending from the chest all the way down through that arm into the hand and the fingertips. And just deepening the breath. Okay, when you're ready, if your hand is behind you, releasing that right hand. And let's roll back onto the bellies. Come back through Sphinx for a moment. So once again, tailbone rolls under, lengthen the heart forwards, widen the shoulders, collarbone, slide the shoulders back down away from the ears, and then pulling the elbows back towards the hips. And let's check in with the body. Notice how everything feels. One side compared to the other. And then let's come on to the second side. So let's bring the right hand out this time, starting with our broken wing. So we're starting with a cactus arm. Turn your head to the left and shift the hips a little bit to the left. And then bringing your right hand, or your left hand by your face and rolling yourself back. And then breathing into the chest, breathing into the armpit on that right side. And legs is whatever is a comfortable position. Just check in with your body as well. So notice how everything feels. The shoulders feel even this evening, or sometimes maybe one side can be tighter than the other. due to the way we might hold ourselves during the day or activities that we do. Sometimes even just carrying a handbag or carrying a child or carrying stuff on one side of the body regularly, more often, we might favor one side. So deepening that awareness with the body, or they might feel perfectly even. If they do, that's excellent. But sometimes they're not always so symmetrical. And once again, just really listening to your body, not forcing anything. And just remembering just to melt rather than pushing. Deepening the breath, perhaps noticing any referring sensation. Sometimes as we release in one area, you might feel release somewhere else. Okay, we'll take a couple more breaths here in our broken wing. And then when you're ready, rolling back onto the belly, take that right hand and slide it all the way out. So the arm is now straight in line with the shoulder. Walk the fingertips away. And then this time we can come a little bit deeper, maybe taking that left hand and bringing it around the back. So that left hand can either be still supporting the front or maybe sliding it around the back and sliding the hand into the waist. Just breathing into the chest, breathing and feeling the energy coming all the way down through that right arm, through the upper arm, the meridians in your arm, all the way down to above and below the elbow, the forearm, to the wrist and the fingertips. And especially if you tend to be on your device a lot, or you type a lot during the day, or you're gripping tools or gripping things, sometimes the hand might be a little bit crunched up. So just make sure you are opening and flattening those fingers. So you're really opening and flattening those fingers of that right hand out. Okay. When you're ready, let's release. Release the top hand and roll yourself back onto your belly. Let's come back to Sphinx. So, rolling the tailbone under, lengthening the spine, reaching the heart forwards, widening shoulders, collarbones. And just breathing into the chest, breathing into the heart. You bring your awareness to your lung points, just underneath the collarbone. Breathing into those areas. Observing the breath. Hopefully it feels a little bit more open. Gentle movements that feel good. Okay, from here, let's come into cactus thread the needle. So we're going to now take that left knee out in line with your hip and come into your frog. Sorry, not cactus, but frog. So you're going to bring left knee out in line with the hip, ankle in line with knee. So just check in with your body and make sure that everything is nicely aligned. Okay, your left hand now is going to come up and you're going to slide that just underneath your elbow. Okay, so you can start with the palm facing up. Okay, now you can bring the other hand forwards. Make sure that when we do that, that we are not reaching our body across. So if you think about this position. When you reach this arm out, don't lean the body across. Keep the spine nice and straight and then reach that hand out. So option one is if it feels very tight, you can bring the palm facing up. Sometimes if you're feeling very tight in your upper arm, then you might want to bring a block underneath your forehead. Otherwise, if it feels quite open, start to wind the palm facing down. Bring your other hand forwards with the forearm bent, and then rest your forehead onto your forearm. And let's melt down here. So just breathing into the back. So breathing into your QR muscles on the left side. Just feeling that nice little, very gentle compression through your lower back. Feeling that opening up through the along the shoulder of the left side. Stretching it all out, and then maybe feeling that winding down through that left arm all the way down into the hand and the fingertips. Keep deepening the breath. Breathing into wherever you're feeling any sensation. And as you exhale, sending a message from the mind to the body just to soften and release. All right, just take a couple more nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, keep your leg where it is. And as we inhale, we're going to roll the tailbone, underbelly hugs in. Inhale, bring the chest back up. Bring your hands back into Sphinx first. And then from here, just roll onto your right. Extend that left leg back. So come into Sphinx for a moment. And then just gently maybe just give a little sway to your hips from side to side. And then just breathing into the lower back, just check in. Hopefully that left side feels a little bit more open. And then from here, let's do the second side. So bringing the right knee out at 90 degrees. Knee in line with hip, ankle in line with knee. Take the right hand and then inhale as we exhale, we slide that right hand through. Palm can be facing up or down. And then once again, making sure we're not reaching too far to the left, and then option to pop your block underneath your head or bring your forearm of your left hand forwards, and then we're going to melt down here. Softening through the breath, allowing the weight of the torso just to melt down. And as you start to soften through the hip, you can slide that right knee a little bit wider out to the side. And you can walk the fingertips of your, maybe you can wind down through the fingertips of your right arm so that you're pushing more into the thumb and index finger and winding that arm like a rope. Bringing the palm facing down of your bottom hand. But once again, just really listening to your body. Everything is just a suggestion, and just really honoring your body wherever it's at this evening. Mm. Mm. Okay. When you're ready, let's lift up. So keep the leg there to start, and then we're lengthening up, unbinding the arm. Bring the hands back into sphinx. Lengthen the heart forwards. Open up through the chest. Breathing into the chest. Once again, bring your awareness to those long points just underneath the collarbones. Should feel quite open now that we've stretched and compressed and opened them up. And then now roll to your left, and then straighten that right leg out. And then just breathing into the lower back. Once again, just check in, notice how everything feels. All right. I'm going to come back into child's pose. So not too long, but bring the hands underneath the shoulders. And then from here, just roll your tailbone under slightly. So your back's a little bit round. And then bring the bum back towards the heels. Maybe resting the belly on the thighs. And then just soften the elbows so our shoulders are nice and relaxed. You can keep the hands forwards, or maybe even just bring the hands back by your heels and just come into embryo. And then from here, just taking some nice deep breaths. Breathing into the back of the body. Okay, we won't stay here too long in this shape. So just take a couple more nice deep breaths here. Open up through the back, and then when you're ready, you can bring the hands out, push into the hands, roll yourself back up. You stretch the arms out if it feels good, and then come back up into a nice seated position. Any kind of gentle movements that feel good if you want to circle the shoulders. Okay, from here, we're going to come into forward fold. I'm going to give you guys a couple of options. So Sheila, I'm going to suggest that you maybe bring your blocks like this, maybe grab a cushion, okay, and bring the cushion like that. So you're making a little ramp. Okay, then from there, you can pop your bolster like so. So then it's pretty much a flat, straight surface that you can lean forwards on, so without curling your back. Okay, and then you can bring your legs out to the side in a straddle position here, and so it doesn't have to be way out. Okay, so you can just have them, so whatever's a comfortable position, the legs don't have to be way out. So in this position, then you can kind of bring this up, and then you can kind of hug this to keep the back flat and straight. Okay, so only come as far as is comfortable. Keep a little bend in the knees if you like. Catherine, if you want a little bit more, now we're going to come into a straddle position. Okay, and we're going to pop this bolster just just against our belly, so it gives us a nice support here. And grab a block or so if you need to. And then, so just come to a comfortable position. Now we want to lengthen up, and then maybe just keep the pelvic floor active, maybe squeeze the glutes a little bit, and then winding the legs out. So from here, inhale, and then as we exhale, just melting down, resting your head onto a block or resting your head onto the bolster. And then we're just going to hang out here for about 5 minutes or so. So make sure it's a nice, comfortable position. We're not going straight to the full extension of our stretch just yet. So we just want to feel a nice stretch, but we want to feel nice and supported. So Sheila, you can, is that feeling okay for your spine? Just okay, perfect. Okay, and then we melt down. Maybe hugging the bolster if that feels good. I'm just going to turn sideways so I can just turn my head instead of looking up. And just melting down. You have another pillow, Sheila? Maybe pop another pillow underneath your forehead or underneath the chest to support, or roll that second pillow up. So just make sure you're feeling really nice and supported here. Well, Sheila, maybe put the pillows underneath the bolster. So build them up underneath rather than on top. So the longest one is the one that you can hug. Yep. So then that kind of brings it a little bit closer up towards you, hopefully. So if we build the back up. Just breathing into the back of the body or wherever you're feeling the stretch. Okay, we'll just take a couple more nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly push into the hands and then roll yourself back up one vertebra at a time. Lengthen up through the crown, shoulders away from the ears. All right, from here, slide your bolster away. Stay in the same alignment. I'm just going to move to this direction. Okay, so from here, you're in your straddle position. Your legs can be whatever's comfortable, the legs. And now if this is not very comfortable for you, okay, bend your left knee in. Okay, and we're just going to come into a side opener. So option one is you bend that left knee in, you pop a block underneath just behind your knee here. Okay, otherwise, if it's comfortable, have both legs open. Okay, so I'm going to take your right hand, inhale. As you exhale, slice across and then maybe bring your hand onto your knee or bring it onto your block. Okay, and then from here, take your other hand. Inhale, reach it to the sky. So you're feeling that nice opening up through that right side of you. And then now rest your head onto your right fingertips so that you can kind of relax your neck. Okay, reach up through those fingertips of your left hand. And then from here, exhale, bend the elbow and then just gently resting the hand onto the head. Okay, so we're just going to take some nice deep breaths here. Keep that left hip on the floor and feel like you're winding the ribs open towards the sky, extending up through the elbow, opening up through the chest. As you exhale, you can wind a little bit deeper. Keeping the right side nice and long so we're not feeling crunching through the bones. Okay, now take your left hand and drop it down so you're holding onto the head with the left fingertips now. Okay, and then you release your right hand, you push your right hand into the floor and use your left hand to support your head as you inhale yourself back up. Lengthen the spine, relax the shoulders, just take a couple of breaths here. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, shoulders are relaxed, and just check in with the body, notice how everything feels, maybe one side compared to the other. And then just reaching to throat, and a little circling with the head. Way, and then other way. Okay, from here, let's do the second side. So if you need, bring your other knee in, and then pop your block behind your knee if you need to. Okay, or yeah, whatever's comfortable. So sometimes you can do this as well. So maybe that goes a little bit deeper. This will be a little bit higher. So just find what feels good for you. Okay, so we take that right hand as we inhale, keep the left hand, and keep the left side of the body long. So we're reaching across. Hold onto your head. Take the other arm up. So we're winding open the chest. Reach up to the ceiling. So you're feeling that stretch all the way from that bottom hip all the way out through to your fingertips. I just want to breathe into it for a moment. And then when you're ready, exhale, soften the elbow and just resting that hand under the head. And we'll just take some nice deep breaths here. So maybe just engaging and contracting through the left side of your body. So we're opening up through the right. So mirroring tonight. And then winding the ribs open. Okay, when you're ready, the right hand climbs down. So you're holding onto the head with the right hand. Release the left hand, push into the mat. Inhale, lengthen back up. Spine is nice and tall. Exhale, release the hands. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Observing the breath and the energy. And then any kind of gentle movements that feel good. Roll the shoulders if it feels good. I'm just turning the head from side to side. Reach into throat. Feels good to circle the head, otherwise you can just keep still. All right, when you're ready, so lift your pelvic floor and bring your awareness to the big thigh bone in its socket. And then from here, inhale, bring your legs back together actively. So if your knee is bent, just straighten the lat and bring it back in. Okay, from here, just shake your legs out. So heels just a little bit wider than hip width, and just shake everything out. And let's bend the knees, hug the belly into the spine, dropping the knees from one side, inhale to center, exhale to the other side. Okay, come back to center. Let's roll ourselves onto our backs. And then from here, option one is maybe grab your strap and then hook your strap over your right foot. Just take a couple of breaths here. And maybe, so this now, our leg is straight in line with the hip, feeling the hip in its socket. And just gently rocking a little bit from side to side. So try to make it very nice and gentle and bringing your awareness to feeling that the base there. Okay, and then maybe just breathing into the back of the leg with the hips square. Take a couple of breaths here. We might just stay, if you guys are okay, just go a little bit over. And then from here, so option one now, if you feel that the hamstring is a little bit tight, is now you just release the knee. So we're going to come into a twist. So option one is release the knees all together. Take the right hand out, pop the hips across and both knees bent. And as you exhale, bring the knees across. Okay. Otherwise, option two is you keep your foot in your strap. And then from here, straighten out the other leg. Pop your hips across towards the right. Right shoulder is grounded. Inhale as you exhale, draw the belly into the spine and bring that foot across towards the left. And let's lengthen the spine as you inhale. Exhale, hug the belly in. Eye gaze is wherever's comfortable. And just releasing through the back here in a nice twist. If your legs extended, maybe you're feeling that nice stretch through your hamstring as well. Releasing lower back, middle back, upper back and shoulder. Breathing into wherever you're feeling the stretch. Keep the belly hugging into the spine. Widening out across the hip crease. Okay, when you're ready, hug the belly back in. Inhale that leg back to center. Bring the hips back to the middle. And then exhale, release that foot back to the ground. Give the legs a nice little shake out. Maybe just check in with the body. Notice how one side feels compared to the other. And then when you're ready, let's do the other side. So you can bend the right knee if you need to. Bring your other foot into your strap. And then just take some nice deep breaths here. Just once again, widening out across the hips, feeling the weight of the hip in the socket. Maybe a nice little stretch through the back of the leg. And just breathing in. It's nice. Okay, when you're ready, let's come into the twist. So option one, once again, is to release the strap. If everything feels very tight, especially at your back, then you keep the knees bent, pop the hips across, and as you exhale, you bring the knees across. Okay, otherwise, you can bring your strap into your foot into your strap, holding onto the strap with your right hand. And then from here, pop your hips towards the left, straighten that leg back out. Left shoulder is grounded, and as you exhale, belly hugs in as you bring that foot across towards the right. And keeping the spine nice and long, keeping that left shoulder on the mat. And I'm just releasing to the back. Lower back, middle back, upper back and shoulder. Be winding down through that arm, opening the chest. Maybe turning your eye gaze a little bit further. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, belly hugs in. Inhale, bring that leg back to center. Bring the hips back to the middle. And then exhale, release that foot back down. Give the legs a nice little shake out. And then when you're ready, hug both knees into the chest. Maybe roll back up into a little ball. Maybe rocking from side to side. Massaging out through the back, circling the knees in one direction. And then gently back the other way. And then take the knees apart, circle them in opposite directions. And then back the other way. All right, let's come into happy baby now. So hug the knees in towards the armpits, widen through your hips and collarbones. Softening through the hips. And then from here, bring the feet up to the sky. Maybe hold the backs of your knees. Maybe hold your calves, your ankles, or the outside edges of your feet. Widening out across the back. Maybe roll the tailbone back towards the floor. So we're feeling that nice flattening out across the back. And then you can rock here, or you can stay in stillness, whatever feels good. Maybe a little half straddle. Just do whatever feels nice. All right, and then when you're ready, releasing the feet, and then just slide the legs out, little shake out, shimmy through the body. And then lengthen up through the back of your neck, shoulders away from the ears, and tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the two front teeth. Make any final adjustments if you need to. And then just melting down. And so just deepening the breath. Deep, full deep breaths, flooding the body from the hips all the way to the collarbones as you inhale. And then as you exhale, just let everything soften down. Observing any subtle changes. It's breathing into them, letting everything assimilate. Mm. If you need to yawn, feel free to do so, just allowing more oxygen into the body. Just letting everything be soft and heavy and just melting down. Okay, so if you're watching this as a video replay, I encourage you to stay in Shavasana for a little bit longer, at least the next 5 or 10 minutes. Just let everything rest. So if you're ready, maybe just gently bring some movement back in, and or if you maybe just pausing it if you're watching a video replay. And then when you're ready to come out, you can just stretch out any kind of movements that feel good. And then when you're ready, just gently roll onto your left side just to put a little bit of compression onto your heart, keeping the knees bent. And here, just keeping the eye gaze soft with the eyes slightly closed. When you're ready, push into the top hand, straighten your top leg, and slowly return yourself back into seated. And so from here, just sit bones even. Lengthen the spine, relax the shoulders and the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the 2 front teeth. Let's take some nice deep grounding breaths here into the body. Allowing your breath and energy to return to normal with the spine tall. And when your breath and energy feels like it's returned to normal, we just check in, notice how everything's feeling, hopefully feeling a little bit more open, a little bit more flowing and more relaxed than when we first began. Okay, when you feel like your breath and energy has returned to normal, let's inhale, hands into prayer at the heart to close. Breathing into the heart center here. And then really gently bowing the heads. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. If you have any questions or feedback, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.